So, hello everyone, I'm Viktoria and Gregor from Hungary. I'm a psychologist and a friend of Greg. So, we will have an interview with him because I would like to ask him about his meditation practice, his spirituality, and I hope these questions are gonna be interesting for you and for everyone who is watching this video.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I would like to ask first about meditation. Like how did you start meditating?
Well, I was exploring different things in life. Like I was unsatisfied with what life offered me at that point. Like doing a regular job, doing regular stuffs in life, and I didn't feel totally satisfied, and I thought life has to offer something more than that. So I first studied religion. Maybe I wanted to see if religion can help, and so after religion
What kind of religions you were studying?
I think Christianity, like because it's the closest, culturally closest, and I did read about other religions. I didn't go into the depth because I already could see that as a very like for my rational mind, any religion that asks you to believe without questioning is not the answer that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So then after like starting different things, I also started meditating at one point. And this is the first time that I found a tool that can really deliver this happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like some kind of revelation for me. I just said, wow, yeah, I want to meditate. And from then on, I do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And how did it shape your life, or what kind of impact do you feel?
Well, it changed the way I look at my capabilities as a human. Like, what am I capable of? Like, before I was doing meditation, I was just like, doing the things, going to work and doing my work and I don't know, whatever. But then when I started meditating, I realized that there is so much potential in the mind that was locked before, and now I have a tool to unlock it. So it's changed because my confidence has risen at that point. I was like, when I started meditating, I was like, yeah, this mind is so powerful, I can do so many stuff with this. And then I knew that like whatever I put my mind to, I can do that. And this is how it changed my life, because I started doing things that were meaningful.
Can you give an example?
Well, the example would be I wasn't happy with this corporate work I was doing, like working from 8 to 4 p.m. in some office, and I said, well, I should start something on my own. And then I did, and yeah, this was the first step.
And do you find people who are thinking like you, and or like how is this journey for you, like with friendships and
interesting question.
Because I guess it was a big change from
the
past.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I have many friends who do the same thing as I do. So many times I feel like being a little bit alone in this practice. But it's very good to make to point to the difference between being alone and being lonely.
Yes.
Because, for example, now I spend most of the days being alone, but I don't actually feel lonely, as meditation is a tool that also helps you get to know yourself, learn to love yourself, and when you are alone, you feel like with your best friend. So, although I don't have many friends doing the same thing as me, at least here in Croatia, maybe globally, yes, I'm okay with that because my daily routine is like, yeah, I mean, meditation is a thing you do mostly alone. You sit and close your eyes.
Yes, yes. And what do you think, or how do you see, maybe in Croatia that's easier to answer, like, are people getting more open to this kind of things, like such as reading about religions or meditating or going deeper?
Yeah, interesting question. Croatia is historically like culturally, it's a Catholic country surrounded by different religions from East, with two different religions, and what
like Islam, and what is the
Islam and the Orthodox Church. And I think this is the general rule of thumb in the world. Like when you have one religion surrounded by different religions, then this one religion, to protect it from the impact of the outside, is very strict. It's very fundamental. So Christianity in Croatia is different than Christianity maybe in Slovenia, which is very close by. Like it would be more liberal in Slovenia, and in Croatia it's more conservative. And that's also the reason why many folks are not really into searching other spiritual paths. They are
because they follow the
they're sticking to their. But on the other hand, I see many people like being curious and learning about different religions, learning about meditation, and so I see something is changing here as well.
And what do you think about the situation now with the coronavirus? Like, for example, for you in this situation, how could you cope with that? Did had meditation or spirituality any role in your life in this period, or I don't know, is it related somehow? How you could cope with that?
I think this corona crisis, as any crisis, relates to everyone, and everyone changes a little bit. Here we had the opportunity, like, to be isolated a little bit more than usually because of the restrictions, like we cannot move from one city to another city. So everyone who actually enjoys solitude was okay with this, but people who depend on the company of others, they were having a hard time because they couldn't reach other people. So I don't know, maybe there is a message here to try to develop happiness from within, so that you have this happiness even if a new wave of corona comes and you are stuck in your house or in your apartment. It's good to know that you can still be happy, content and fulfilled.
And how was this period for you?
Well, okay, I live in the countryside, and for me there wasn't much of a change, because I spent time meditating and walking in the forests, which I did also before.
Okay.
And talking to people. I was very sad to know that some people were really having hard time, maybe friends who live in small apartments and now suddenly they cannot go anywhere. It's hard, right?
Yes, for sure. And did you have any impactful, I don't know, teachers or books which had an impact on you on your spiritual journey?
Yes.
Could you have maybe some milestones or?
Yes. So.
Could you explain that?
Although it's like meditation as a tool is something that can teach you, and if you are skilled in meditation, you can develop yourself without an external teacher.
Mm-hmm.
However, like it's always good to have some inspiration coming from the outside, and that usually comes from a teacher. And so my spiritual path is in line with traditional Theravada Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
That's Buddhism as it was practiced 2,500 years ago in India, and in these modern times it's practiced in Thailand and in Sri Lanka and in Burma maybe. And especially like in Thailand, there is something called the forest tradition. Monks who, like Buddhist monks who are living in forests the same way as Buddha was living 2,500 years ago. Because the success, like meditation, you cannot take meditation from the rest of your life. It's always, every part of your life is connected, like dots are connected one to another. So the way you live, like your surrounding, influences how successful you will be in meditation. And living in forest, in natural environment, without many things, it helps meditation. So those forest monks are my inspiration. I could give you names, but Ajahn Man, Ajahn Mahapua. Ajahn means monk. A monk that is like monk for more than 10 years is called Ajahn. So yeah, those forest monks are definitely Ajahn Chah. He is a big figure.
Did you meet them in person, or are you following their, I don't know, speeches or books or?
Though the monks I mentioned, they all passed away, like in this century or in the last century. But there is a group of following monks who, like, they're students who are now present, and you can. I mean, in this era of YouTube, you can watch their talks. And also you can go to Thailand and visit them if you like. So yeah, the teaching is alive still. In a way.
How do they live, these monks?
Well, monks have so the Buddhism is about the middle way. Middle way between we can say middle way between hedonism, or like on the one hand you have hedonism, the concept of I live only once, let's enjoy this life as much as I can. This is hedonism. On the other hand you have the asceticism, like saying this hedonism doesn't work, so let's do the opposite. Let's not enjoy anything. Let's eat just terrible food, or let's just eat maybe one leaf a day, just enough to keep us alive. And the Buddhism is the middle way, means like it's not hedonism, it's not asceticism, but it's in the middle. But still this middle is like very ascetic. And they live in the forest. They have something, it's called the kuti, usually a house in the forest, or they are something that's called tudanga monks. That means they actually don't have any house. They just walk forests. They walk around
and they just sleep wherever
they sleep wherever they find. And then they walk all day, meditate, and then they depend on lay people to provide them with food, right? So once a day they go on alms round with their bowls, and then people give them food, and it's very inspiring. I had the opportunity to live like that a little bit in Thailand, and it's very inspiring. Like you wake up in the morning, you don't have much to do. You sweep the area because you live in the forest, so there are many leaves. You sweep the area, and then you go on this alms round, and then people give you food. Usually, like if you're in a poor area of Thailand, like they just give you some sticky rice and something that you're not sure what it is, like inside. And then you eat it. You eat only once. They eat only once a day. They eat only once a day, and that's it. That their life.
It's very simple.
Very simple and dedicated to meditation, to development.
Yeah, but how do you think how it can be integrated to the modern life as we live? Because these traditions were founded like 2,500 years ago, and now the world has changed a lot. And
it's a good question. Like we should really think about it. It's
because this sounds a bit radical for me, like living in the forest and just walking and meditating, and it's a bit the opposite of the modern ideal person image, like you being productive, doing useful things, earning money, go to travel and these things, and this is like totally like living without any possessions and house and being free, but also depending on other people. So how could like
the thing is, like, I think whatever we do in life, we should always ask ourselves what's the motivation behind it. If I am trying to achieve some, let's call it worldly goals, like I want to earn some money, I should always ask myself what's the motivation behind it. And the motivation behind this very simple life is just finding happiness. Like we tried, as the Buddha himself was the example, he tried to find happiness in the world. Like he really pushed it to the extreme. He had like 3 palaces, like every palace for one part of the year, where he enjoyed all the nicest music, nicest food, and he found out that it doesn't provide the happiness he was looking for. And so although for us modern people, like who are a little bit dependent on the technology and everything that modern society has given us, it seems radical to go in the forest and meditate. But this is a pragmatic thing. Like you're just think of yourself as you're a scientist, in a way, and your goal is to find happiness for yourself, contentment, to be okay with yourself. So you just try different things until something works. And living the simple life and meditating actually works, although we are terrified of that. What would I do all day? Like I would go mad. We think things like that. But the end result for someone who is really determined that after the period of just getting into the new situation, you actually bloom like a flower. You are really starting to be happy. Yeah.
I just checked the time. Okay, so maybe one last question for you. Do you have any message or like what you would like to share now with those who are watching this video? Or
yes, I would like to share.
Yes.
I would like to share that we shouldn't be content with just little pleasures we get in life. We should know that pleasure is not the same as happiness, because usually in a way, how we live is we chase after pleasures, big pleasures or little pleasures. Like, I can't wait to drink my coffee. I can't wait to have a little dessert. I can't wait to go to the trip somewhere. Those are, pleasures, and we are very, very dependent on those pleasures, because in our mind, we think pleasure is happiness. So yeah, my message is like, let's think about it. Let's see if this pleasure is really happiness. In a way, like all our lives we are chasing after pleasures. Are we really happy? And if we are not, then let's try to see like how we can be happy.
And how can you know if it's happiness or just pleasure?
It's a good question.
Can we know it in advance or just after experiencing? What do you think about this?
So pleasure, in a way, it gives us some kind of a relief. Let's say, if I want to enjoy food, I have to be a little bit hungry before. So I have to have a little bit of uncomfortable feeling of hunger, some tension, and then I eat, and then this tension is gone. And this is what we call pleasure. Pleasure is actually relief from tension. It's always like that. And it doesn't last long. You know, you have your pleasure, you have eaten, later on you need it again. So pleasure is, first of all, it's dependent on outside things, outside of ourselves, and it's very fleeting, like you have it and then it's gone. While happiness stays with you. And Buddha described happiness as being a shadow, like it's very delicate, you cannot feel the shadow, you know. He described suffering as something like physical, you can feel it, it's hard, but happiness is very delicate, it's just there, you can feel it.
It sounds like kind of state of mind.
Exactly. So that's
not just a feeling which is going, but
that's the difference.
State of mind.
That's the difference between pleasure and happiness. Happiness it stays.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for lovely questions.
And thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed and you can follow Gregor and subscribe and everything.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Okay.
So, bye.
Bye bye.